Hello, and welcome to Lumi AI. We're a conversational data analytics platform that provides instant access to critical insights buried in ERPs and data warehouses. In this demo, we'll walk through the Lumi platform and showcase how agentic workflows are transforming the way enterprises interact with their data. So let's dive in. There are 4 key modules to note: chat, boards, knowledge base, and verifications. Chat is the primary interface where you can ask questions, get answers. Any insight from the chat interface can be pinned to a board. The knowledge base is the main repository of context that the agents pull from to answer users' questions. Without the knowledge base, the agents will not be able to produce any meaningful output. And verifications allow users to request humans to review any of the insights that may have been generated from Lumi. Diving deeper into this chat, you can see we started with a relatively vague question. And in this example, we asked, has there been any drastic changes in our shipping performance over the past few months? Lumi retrieves the data, auto-visualizes the chart. You can always click on the table tab to see the underlying data, and you can always download the data into Excel or CSV if you want to. Other things you can do here is pin the visual to the board or copy it and paste it into a deck. You can also customize the visual, and there's a lot of options that you have here to change the chart types. Other things you can do, for example, is come in here and change some of the colors, click undo and redo, and click save. Moving on, you also get a summary of the findings, and you also get clickable follow-ups. So these are just ideas on what you should be doing recommended by Lumi. There's ability to thumbs up, thumbs down, and the ability to request verification as well. Moving below to the prompt bar, you have the ability to add a file. And this allows you to now extract insights from both unstructured PDFs or Excel files and the underlying database or ERP that you may be querying. The prompt helper allows you to explore what data is available, and you can also explore a set of sample prompts that have been made available for you as well. Filter allows you to filter the chat on any particular attribute you want. Really helpful, we've seen. And then if you'd like to see how Lumi generated the insights, you can kind of show thinking. And what this does is basically shows you how the different agents interact with one another. So the first thing we do is we rephrase the user's prompt. After doing that, we then pull the most relevant context from the knowledge base. And then the rephrased prompt and the context are then provided to the query agent that tries to solve the analysis. So it provides its explanations in plain language, the assumptions as well, and then the actual SQL code that was generated dynamically to answer the user's questions here. In this particular example, we noticed that Lumi has found that there's been a significant decline in on-time shipping performance, and it's very evident over here, and recommended we investigate the root causes. And so we can run this prompt, and that's what we did over here. And what we get is essentially a summary of the findings along with the breakdown of the problem. So in this particular example, it broke down the root cause into 5 sub-questions that it analyzed in parallel. You can click through them to see all of what you're doing here. And essentially, after analyzing all of these 5 factors in parallel, Lumi clearly states that the primary driver of shipments has been due to inventory shortages more than anything. And so that's quite interesting. It's probably a good spot to dive deeper and investigate deeper here. And so you can just ask it, and in this case, that's what I did. Can you please show me the trends of inventory shortages over time? And in this case, Lumi gave us the number of stockouts on each day, which is good, but I'd like to see this by month personally. And so you can do exactly that, right? You can just ask Lumi show this by month, and we can now see a much clearer rising trend of inventory shortages. If you'd like to add columns, you very easily can by simply asking Lumi. And in this case, we can tie it all together nicely by asking Lumi to bring in on-time shipping. And so we can now clearly visualize what happened over here. Right, so I asked it to add a few more columns, and these columns that were brought in were added to the chart, and we can see that on-time shipping went down correlates strongly with an increase in out of stocks. And so this really shows Lumi's ability to take vague questions and really try to, in a matter of minutes, find novel insights that may be buried in large ERPs, data warehouses, insights that traditional BI tools typically miss. At this point, you can choose to share the analysis with other people. So anyone that you want, you can kind of share with, or you can also copy the link and just send it to them. If this is an insight you'd like to track for a bit longer, you can always pin it to a board. So showing you what that would look like, you can just add it over here. You can click here to kind of navigate to the board itself or from the side panel. So jumping into it, this is kind of what it would look like. And you have the ability to edit the boards. You can kind of move things around if you want to. You can kind of resize them. That's all kind of fair game, or delete them. That's really up to you. You can click save. From there, you can choose to refresh on command or set a refresh cadence. You can choose to publish to the entire team as well. Looking into a more fleshed out board, let's go to the sales board. And what you can see is there's also like a summary of the dashboard you can read as well. It's generated from Lumi. And you can also kind of click in to any of these insights. And in this case, you can kind of see the table, you can see the chart, you can choose to hide the details as well. And if you'd want to drill down, it's fairly simple. You can just click drill down. And basically what this does, it opens up a new chat starting with this insight. And from here, you can explore as you want. Requesting verifications is a neat feature. So what you could do is just have a conversation. Is this correct, for example? And you get a notification saying, hey, a new vetting has been submitted for verification. You can navigate to the verifications tab where you can see kind of the request that I just submitted. You can see we can have a conversation as well. So someone would be reviewing this and can comment back and tell me if this is correct or wrong. They can approve it. And if they approve it, we get like thumbs up. So it's a verified insight of sorts. And I have the reassurance that this has now been vetted and things like that. Other things I can do is I can look at reviews. So if I'm an admin, I can kind of review, or power user, I can review requests submitted by other people. And so I can choose to approve or reject it. It's just all available to you. The whole idea here is to improve trust and streamline communications and collaboration on insights between the data teams and business users. Finally, we have the knowledge base. And so we're really proud of the knowledge base module. It really supplements the agentic workflows in a way that is very complementary. So first thing to note is that there could be multiple knowledge bases in an organization. And what you can kind of do in here after you kind of establish a connection. So that's usually the first step. You'd come in here, establish a connection, pick from a wide variety of connectors that we do have. And from there, you can start to build your data model. So what you could do is start to bring in all the tables and fields that you want Lumi to know about. You can rename any vague columns that come up. So NO underscore can be renamed to item ID. You can see a sample of the table that Lumi understands. And then you can click here to see some sample meta properties. So shows you the percentage null, the max values, the min values, and things like that. So all of this is just context that's made available to Lumi so that it can pull from when answering users' questions, right? So a lot of flexibility over here. The model tab allows you to visualize what's going on. And so you can clearly see that Lumi thinks that you can join the bill of materials table to current inventory on item ID. If you want to define explicit join conditions, you can very easily. The interface fully allows you to do that. And so this is just a lot of precision and control over the context that is needed in order to enable best-in-class conversational analytics capabilities. To bring in a new table or let's say a new use case, it's fairly simple. You can just pick any random table that you want. I'll just put this test table. Put an underscore over here. And you can see I can just bring in the fields, and you can see it gets added to my canvas over here. And let's say I'm trying, for the sake of this example, constraint names actually item ID. You can very easily rename it from the semantic name. You can also add filters and details as needed. Again, additional controls that are there. And you can see it gets joined to the table immediately, right? Based on the semantic name that we just defined. So again, a very easy way to just build semantic layers, data models that are rich in context so that the agents know how to navigate through them. The business context tab allows you to just define metrics, details, KPIs, default behaviors in just plain language. We've seen people be really creative with what you can do here. But again, all of this is just context that is available to the agents so they can pull from in order to answer users' questions. And then finally with memories, so remember there's thumbs up, thumbs down. The memories tab essentially allows you to commit certain responses or feedback provided by users into Lumi's memory bank or its knowledge base, reinforcing good behavior if it's been thumbs up, or avoiding bad. So do more of good and avoid the bad is kind of the idea here. That definitely improves the quality of responses we've seen. And then finally, a tab to manage all the user permissions. And so very easily just who's a contributor, who's a viewer, and all of these things. So in a nutshell, the knowledge base just gives you, again, a lot of precision over the context you need in order to enable high quality responses from AI agents and agentic systems like Lumi. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos.